you please introduce yourselves?
I'm Miek Swanborn. I'm a Dutch artist and writer, and together with Rutger, we form the Quavering Studio.
So I'm Rutger Emmelkamp, and I'm an artist and designer, and indeed we run the Quavering Studio, which is a creative hub and an artist residency as well.
We are now sitting in our exhibition Quavering Tongues in Antobar, a gallery in Tobermory, and this exhibition is actually a lot of these works are based on Quavering, the place where we live since 7 years.
But actually, the exhibition is where we are, and the way we look at where we are around Quavering.
Quavering used to be a township. It is halfway a hill. It looks out over the sea. You see Iona in the distance. It's really in between fields with sheep on the front, and in the back there's the hills and the nature reserve Quavering. It's now 5 houses and 7 barns and sheds.
Yeah, we live on number 2, which is number 1 is the last house, and that's really on the shore. So, I think also something how we would describe Quavering is maybe we lived there 7 years, so things have evolved a bit. How we see things, what we know of Quavering. In the beginning, it felt like a remote place.
On a daily basis now, we see more people than we ever saw when we lived in Amsterdam. And we have more contact with the neighbors and also with people who are visiting the beach or the reserve.
And also
and
just
our guests.
Knowing the place makes it feel like a center. Like we work from Quavering, and we approach the world and our international network from our life deeply embedded in Quavering, so it starts to feel like home at the center. And I think that really changed the way we would describe Quavering. It's not a remote place. No. It's far away for some. So the exhibition is consists of multiple works in different disciplines, and a lot of the works are echoes of other works, earlier works, but also works in the exhibition reflect each other in a way. They all circle around or reflect different, show different facets of the landscape or Quavering area. And I think because we collaborate and things evolve quite organically. So there's a lot of retakes of different works, but then in different mediums. For us, an exhibition is in a way sort of a temporary freezing of a continuous process. So a lot of the works will started in an earlier time as early trials, and they're a bit more mature, and some of the works are really young and will develop further. So as an example, the wooden structure behind us here is it's called a Zob reading room. For the exhibition it's just a skeleton, but when it comes back to Quavering after the exhibition, it will be installed outside, fully cladded, and it will function as a public reading room in which we will present different books with very specific outlooks on our area.
Yeah. Another example is a poem that is written on the wall. It's called 25 Movements, and it is a collection of 25 moments I've collected through my binoculars over all those years that we are here, and they are they are now like written on the wall, but I can imagine that in the next stage or a next exhibition they will be animated or projected with light.
Also, the way we look at work in general is that there are studies, the ways
it's more
of relating.
sketching all the time.
So once you finish the work, you also learn some. I think we learn a lot. That's the whole point of making work, is that you learn through making those works. So there's always a need for a next version, because with the new insights you also have new ideas of the work, and you get into nuance of things, which is, I think, the essence of understanding where you are. It's all in the nuances.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you tell us a bit about the exhibition title, Quavering Tongues, the Gaelic of which is Chenganan Idkri?
Yes, so we were looking for a title that would reflect multiple languages or multiple ways of looking. So that's the tongue bit, different speech, different way of speaking, different way of making also. And the quavering, I think it first started with quivering, which we liked really a lot when we were working on the peat, doing a peat restoration project. And there's often talk about quivering.
Quaking walk.
Quaking walk. Yeah. And then quaking to quivering to quavering. And we really like the last sort of nuanced meaning, where it's more sensual or more physical.
Yeah. There's the Dutch word is trilveen, and the sound of trilveen is really comes out of the bubbling soil.
Yeah.
We really like to have that activity in the title.
Yeah, we were struck by how the peat bog is this bouncy surface, and how you can nevertheless penetrate it just by pushing your arm in. And that had this really sensual feeling. But also because we collaborate a lot. I think with our residency we have a lot of guests, and often we collaborate with our artists in residence. So, and their vision on, because all the residencies are about where we are. That's sort of the main criteria for the people we invite. And we really believe that all these voices of our guests are adding wisdom to the place. So we really wanted something with including all their voices.
Yeah, and many of these pieces are based on a nature reserve called Tirergan, which is fenced off 25 years ago from cattle, and in that quite a large 625 hectare piece of land, there are also 5 klach and ruins of 5 little villages that are abandoned now, but many people once lived in there, and these places and Tirergan as a whole was a big inspiration for this exhibition.
In Tirergan there's this one key section that we've discovered after exploring several years actually, and it was within, quite deep into the forest. It's an old bit of forest, and suddenly we saw the forest floor being this lazy bed structure, and we've seen the lazy bed structures before, but always on pasture, and we've never seen it like overgrown by forest. And that image of in a way threatened forest overgrowing a threatened cultural thread was striking, was complicated. So that complexity felt really important to investigate. And so a lot of the works, that's where a lot of the stories started.
Yeah, also because most of the lazy beds that you see up the hills, they are quite eroded. But this one, although it is overgrown, it looks quite sharp, as if
pronounced.
As if people just left it, or
Yeah, so in a way the forest kept it in a more natural, so original state. So it raised a lot of questions of us like treading there, being in there. We
What
felt the
hap-
presence of the former inhabitants
Yeah.
most strongly there. So that raised question of who are we in relation to this history, not speaking the language as newcomers. So that's one of those thematics almost in the exhibition, is what can newcomers, how can newcomers come to understand the land they move to, they lived. So as strangers, what can we contribute to the parts of the stories that are still alive and that what is lost?
Mm-hmm.